Hey, this is Kenny with Keller Williams Realty. Hope everybody's having a great week. Again, Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a great and safe celebration for New Year's. Um, Now that we're in a new year, hope everybody has is hitting the ground running and everything like that. Um, Today's topic, I wanted to talk about, me and every other agent ever is always like, buy a house, sell a house, invest in a house. But what are those situations where it doesn't make sense to buy or sell? What does that look like? Because there definitely are. When you're dealing with a big ticket item like a house, it doesn't always make sense, and there are definitely those different scenarios. First thing is like the time horizon. Like people always talk about, okay, well, what are the housing prices like today, or what are the housing prices like tomorrow, or whatever. Like you should be thinking like a 10-year like type of like this is a long term, this is a life decision. So it doesn't have a whole lot to do with today and tomorrow and next week. Um, does it make sense over time? Like, first of all, if you're going to be, you know, in the Atlanta area or whatever area, are you even going to be here? Do you want to be here for 5, 7, 10 years? The average is, 5, 7 years. People, sell their house and move to a different house, upgrade, downgrade, whatever it is. Does that even make sense for you? One of the classic examples of one that is a little bit problematic is like people in the military. So if you have a post and you're going to be moved around here, moved there, moved here, moved there. You can, if you buy a house everywhere, you got houses all over. You got Colorado and Oklahoma and Georgia and New Jersey and wherever else. If you bought a house everywhere, and I think sometimes people try to make a permanent situation out of a temporary situation. If it's temporary, rent. It's okay to rent. If you don't have, another thing is if you don't have your money together, like don't buy. Because over time, yes, you will build wealth with the house. Over time, yes, it will appreciate. Over time, yes, you can make money. Over time, yes, you can get rental income. All of this stuff, like it's real, and it's one of the cornerstones of like you know how they talk about like marijuana as like a gateway drug. Like home ownership is like the gateway to a bunch of other stuff. Like it's just like step one to like getting rental properties or like business ownership, like holding down and putting your roots in and like building equity, being able to borrow against it. Like there's a lot of different things to like good things about it. But what if you don't have any money? If you buy a house, first of all, you're going to have to shell out a bunch of money up front, between closing costs and down payment and, maybe cost of, excuse me, clean up your credit, moving cost, relocation cost, just endless. It could be endless amount of cost. Like you need to really have it together. And that's just getting in. What if what if something goes out in the first year, you have absolutely no money. You're living hand to mouth. That's not going to work because over time will you pay less? Yes. But what about if stuff is going to go out in the first month? You're screwed if you don't have money saved up. So this is a saving man's game. Like it's a long-term play, saving over time and building wealth over time. This get rich quick, that's always been dead. Get rich slow, get rich with consistency, get rich with intentionality, that laser focus on actually, creating something over time. That's the idea that I've always had about wealth. um but it's not sexy. It's not sexy. You won't see it on Instagram or none of that kind of stuff. But so a couple of them. So um if you're not going to be in the place, if you don't have the money to deal with things that might come up, it could definitely be a burden on you and something that you wouldn't want to take on. What's another thing? If you have some kind of sentimental value, sentimental attachment. Obviously, if you got like kids in school, you're gonna want to stay put in a certain place for longer. But that's maybe if you already own and you don't want to sell. What would keep you from buying in the first place? Obviously, those jobs, those traveling nursing jobs, maybe flight attendant. I don't know, like how often they get home, depending on like what flight you have. What's like anything that's like temporary. It does make sense to rent in some cases while you get your money together, while you get your permanence together. Um, it doesn't always. I was just talking to someone about. They were telling me that they had a daughter that was going to buy a house with three cousins or whatever. That is somewhat of a temporary situation because you're talking about young people that might go get married and whatever. If you buy a house, buying a house is almost like getting married. Like in some cases, it's more of a commitment than getting married nowadays. The way divorces and people not even getting married in the first place. So if you have a house together, you have a real connection. So what if that bond isn't strong enough, or if it's likely to be broken in some way? If you buy a house with your boyfriend, for example, or hey, we're partners or whatever, like any kind of anything like that where the bond isn't strong enough, like those could be reasons to not buy. Um, those are just some of, but just kind of get that you kind of get the idea. Anything temporary, anything that if you don't have the money to kind of put towards it, like it's a big deal and it's a life decision. So don't make those decisions based on like don't buy in a house even if it's like short term financially better. Like if you know you're gonna move, like don't do it. So there's a lot of reasons not to buy, and then obviously prices too high, interest rates too high, all that kind of stuff. But those are more short term reasons. Those are not reasons not to buy overall. Like for example, like if you're gonna be in an area for 10, 20 years, you're never gonna move. Like you need to find a way to get into a house so that way you can build wealth. Like that's the first step. So you need to get the foot in the door like sooner than later. But like that's a different conversation. But I hope everybody got some value out of that. I'll be coming out with a new video every Wednesday, so be sure to check me out. And everybody have a great night.